everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the Majors Live here at a special time, like 8:45 Eastern time.
Start like an hour and a half ago.
Well, it was kind of an impromptu show tonight. I was getting ready to cancel because there was other stuff happening, and Dorf is like, "No, we have to."
Please.
Yeah, Dorf was like, we have to go tonight," and I was like, "You're right, we do."
If it's, I was offering to just start now. Period.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the Motor City Uncut show before this.
Yeah.
I was offering to, even if we didn't start this late for Majors Live, even start now.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, this was definitely a weekend that we had to do something. I mean, considering the onslaught of just news items. And to tell you the truth, it really was, I mean, from a national standpoint,
Big week.
The big news item was Donald Trump going after the NFL and the NBA to some in a very big capacity. I mean, you're going after Steph Curry, rescinding his.
It's easy to rescind an invite that's already been declined.
Exactly. I mean, that's Dorf. That's
what an empty gesture.
Yeah, that's like saying that you quit.
You can't come to my birthday party. You weren't invited anyway. Anyway.
No, that's like quitting.
You can't fire me. I quit.
Exactly. That's like getting fired at a job and you're like, no, I quit. You can't fire me, and whatever. Yeah, Steph, and that's what LeBron James said too. He said that, he already wasn't coming, and
wasn't gonna go.
And I don't. And this is no loss. I mean, it's not any secret that the sports world doesn't like Donald Trump, and having their invitation pulled. I don't think a lot of teams are going to be really that beat up about not getting an invite to the White House from somebody like Donald Trump. I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, Donald Trump is I don't even know if I want to call him a polarizing figure because there's
by the strictest legal definition, you love him or you hate him. There's very few people that are on the fence that are.
You're right.
I don't know about the guy.
You're right. You're absolutely right about that. But I guess it's one of those things right now where athletes aren't going to care if they go if an invitation is pulled from them or not when it comes to the White House.
We didn't want to go anyway.
I think there's going to be a lot of teams from here on out as well that aren't going to go to the White House. There's going to be a lot of players that aren't going to go to the White House. And I want to throw the fan question out there because this is going to be the all-encompassing question that we're going to be answering at the end of the show that relates to this lead-off topic here, Dorf, and that's, can Donald Trump ultimately win a war of words against the sports world? Because Donald Trump has for all we've seen so far, well, throughout the campaign and everything, he hasn't been doing much. He hasn't been doing much winning when it comes to his presidency. But this was a guy that couldn't lose during the campaign. I mean, he was up against how many different Republican primary candidates?
At one point, I think there was 18 of them.
Yeah, and he beat them all. Every angle.
Okay, let's rephrase that. There was probably 4 serious.
Okay, hold on 1 second. A lot of them also beat themselves, and yes, you're right that they're
out of the let's 4 of them serious. I would say Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio,
Jeb Bush,
John Kasich. I don't even think. Well, Jeb Bush wanted to be a serious candidate.
No, he was in the beginning.
Please clap.
He was in the beginning. Jeb Bush was a serious candidate. Yeah, Jeb Bush was a serious candidate in the beginning.
I mean, except if you call Donald Trump a serious candidate.
Yeah, good call.
So let's say 5 serious candidates.
But and in a lot of sense too, it was better for him to have those guys in there when they're beating up. But anyways, I want to get into the
little Marco.
Bottom line is he beat all those guys. He beat career politicians at their own game. I want to know if this is something that he can ultimately win, though. I mean, sports, very, very popular in this country. NBA, very, very popular in this country. The NFL, very popular in this country. And as we'll see here in a minute, the MLB has also joined the mix in some sense. MLB, too, very popular in the United States. But after what Donald Trump said, I believe it was Friday night in Alabama, when he was talking about getting the sons of bitches off the field if they, and that's a quote, if they decide to kneel and protest during the national anthem. And I want to make that very, very clear here. I want to make sure that I'm prefacing that correctly, because these players aren't protesting the national anthem. They're protesting during the national anthem, and I will tell you why that makes a big difference in just a little bit. But this weekend, today, Dorf, starting with the 9:30 game in London, Eastern time, that is, between the Ravens and the Jaguars, there was mass protests during the national anthem. You had numbers of players on both teams kneeling. You had owners down on the field locking arms with the players. And this comes after, too, Donald Trump essentially telling private ownership groups what they should do. What they should do during all of this. And saying that these players should be suspended or fired for kneeling during the national anthem. And it continued. It continued throughout the day. We saw a number of players doing it. We saw some teams not even come out during the national anthem. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are one of those teams. The Seattle Seahawks were another team.
Titans didn't come out either.
Titans didn't come out either, okay. Owners releasing their own statements saying that they are firmly in the corners of their players. One of those guys coming out and saying that was Robert Kraft, who is a very, very...
Donald Trump donor.
Yeah, who's a very, very good friend of Donald Trump. Not only a donor, but an extremely good friend of Donald Trump. Mr. Khan as well. I believe he was a donor.
Shad Khan, yeah.
Yeah, to Donald Trump, and he came out and was locking arms with his players, showing solidarity with them. And then Bruce Maxwell. He's not a
catcher for the A's.
Yes, is he classified as a rookie catcher?
I believe so.
Okay, he's 26-year-old, still a rookie catcher. Kneeling last night prior to the Oakland game during the national anthem, and I forget whose hand was on his shoulder during
no, he would technically be his second year. He lost rookie status in 2016.
Okay, semantics.
But he has only 104 total career games under his belt in 338 plate appearances.
Mm-hmm. But Dorf, this is, I mean, I don't know if this is what Donald Trump wanted, if he wanted to continue to, draw that line of division in this country, or if he thought he was going to have the power to really spark a change with this, a change of mentality amongst these players and these owners, which, if that was the case, then it completely backfired in his face, because this protest, it's not against the national anthem, and I want to be completely clear about this. This isn't against the national anthem. This isn't against veterans. This isn't against, the United States or anything like that. These protests are against what many in this country believe is racial injustice in this country. Go ahead, Dorf.
And here's another thing. Not standing or doing something different during the national anthem has been used as a method of protest forever. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it's definitely going back to the 60s and 70s.
Sure.
Like the hippie movement was all about use this as a tactic as well. This isn't new. It's just a new. What is being protested is new. You know what? We've talked time and time again how I'm the, I would say the conservative half here. This isn't defensive. There is no defense of this. It's ignorance of law. It's ignorance of practice. It's willful ignorance of everything. Like, I don't even know that I necessarily don't like it. I don't care.
That's not something that you would do.
No, I probably not. But at the same time, I don't feel like I have anything that's necessarily worth protesting, let alone, nor do I have some platform.
But you're not going to look down on, say you were on these teams. You're not going to look down or not.
I don't care.
Or, well, you're not going to look down on your teammates.
Oh, if it was a teammate doing this, whatever, man. Just are you doing your job well? Does this affect your ability to do your part?
Okay.
So if the answer is yes to that question, then I care. But if that's not the answer,
okay,
I don't care.
Dorf, and I don't want to make things too personal.
Sure.
But this is I think this is a good it's a show topic here that we can maybe get a little personal with it. You're white.
Yeah.
Do you think that if you were a minority, if you're an African American, do you think that your mentality might be different? And I know that's a hard hypothetical.
It is an incredibly hard hypothetical because
because you're not black.
I think myself, is a very. And here's the deal: I get why people are, and I've said this before. This isn't unique for me or new. I get why people are upset. However, I don't think it's rational. I don't. This whole idea that. Essentially, it all kind of comes. The fundamental protest is police treatment by minorities. I don't think it is as bad as portrayed. But it's not. That doesn't mean it's good. I just don't think it's as bad as it's made out to be. So, if I may pride myself of being the rational, logical person that I am, I would think I wouldn't. But at the same time, I can't say that I wouldn't. I can't.
That you wouldn't.
I am unable to adequately put myself in the shoes of
an
African American at this point. I can't give you the honest. I can't give an honest answer.
No, that's fine, and I wouldn't expect you to, Dorf. I mean, because like I said, it's a tough question that I gave you. It's a tough hypothetical,
Mm-hmm.
And I
you didn't give me a chance to formulate my opinion. Totally didn't know that was coming.
Well, that's fine.
Whatever. I mean, not that we ever do any time here anyway.
Yeah,
we don't pre-plan questions like that.
No,
never have.
It's just, and I think this is a lot of people are missing the point with this because yes, you know what, a lot of people are saying this isn't a free speech type of thing.
It's not,
because you know what, the owners, I mean, the players, yes, they can do this, but the owners can retaliate however which they want. Now they're not, and I applaud them for that. Because, and you know what, it's funny too. It seems like people out there assume that because these players are making $1 million, to play a game, and they have, and they have that position to do this, that they shouldn't. And that's something that I never understood. That because I have this position and I make all this money, that I can't formulate an opinion of my own, and I can't take up a cause that maybe I feel, dearly about. I never understood that, because professional athletes, yes, they are professional athletes, but they are also people as well. They're human beings who also have opinions and also have, not to sound too sappy, they also have their own personal feelings on certain issues. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these guys who are protesting are African American, they are minorities, and a lot of what they are seeing is, in this country from, police brutality, whether or not you think it happens more often than not, it's still happening. Whether you have, the president of the United States who's been suspected of being bigoted himself throughout the campaign and even through his presidency, because it's really quite ironic that. And I saw this passing over, numerous times, that once again, Donald Trump, and you could disagree with me if you want, Dorf, but Donald Trump came out harder against athletes protesting racial injustice than he did against the Nazis and the white supremacists in Charlottesville. I didn't hear him calling those guys sons of bitches and, get them the hell out of here and
be fired
and using that type of tone against them. The only thing I heard with him is, there were bad people on both sides. And some of the people on the other side, they were very fine people too.
And hear what I'm going to kind of replay a little bit of the argument we had about that. I'm not going to allow you to draw that false equivalence. I don't think either is of equal importance. Neither was handled well. But I think trying to draw an equivalence here is not necessarily.
I don't think it's. I'm looking at Donald Trump and his actions in the immediate aftermath of this, and the way that he is trying to, the way that he's holding these people accountable.
And the thing you've had is in this situation is a doubling and tripling down. I have his feed up here. How many? So the initial comments were what, 2 days ago? They were on Friday.
Friday were the initial comments.
Since Friday, how many times has he brought it up? The NFL. 1, 2. This is just on his Twitter. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, 10 tweets.
10 tweets.
About not standing for the national anthem, whether it's about the NFL angle, the NHL angle.
I don't think there's an NHL angle yet.
And there is,
did he mention something about the NHL?
Yeah. Well, are the Penguins going to come join? Will somebody let me know if the Penguins will come join me? Something to that effect. And the Penguins are, great team. They're actually going to show up. Something that those aren't direct quotes. But if you include those, there's 2 about the Penguins, 10 if not 8.
Mm-hmm.
He's doubled and tripled down on this. There's no backpedaling. There's no clarification of statements. There's just, nope, I'm sticking with
this.
And
again, you know what?
And here's the deal. The amount of times today that I've seen people going around saying, he's got this right, handling it correct, it just makes me scratch my head. God, disrespecting veterans. It's their choice. There's nothing. This is not a country where it's stand to salute the flag or face prosecution or execution. That doesn't happen here. Thank God.
You know what, too? I mean,
the amount of people that are full beyond this, and the people that I know, and people that, I don't respect. I don't know. Yeah, never mind.
No, finish your thought.
There are people I know and people that I'm around routinely that, have this, well, if I, at my job, did that, I would be fired. Well, guess what? Your job is not professional athlete.
Yes.
You don't, that's one of the luxuries, and if you want to call it a fringe benefit, fine, of being a professional athlete. Your job is not real. It doesn't play by the same rules that most people do. You get a lot of different perks and pitfalls as a result.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Athletes being politically active is nothing new.
No, it's not.
It's not.
And it's okay if they are.
Yeah. Just because, for the same, this whole idea, stay in your lane, just because you're insert X doesn't mean you can comment on Y, is horseshit. Just because you've entered, the profession of a professional athlete doesn't mean you shouldn't be allowed to voice your political opinions or opinions on anything. But at the same time here, I understand the backlash. Doesn't mean people have to like it.
No, of course not.
And you know what? I think, getting back to that polarization that we talked about at the beginning, you either like him or you don't. I think there's enough sycophantic followers of Donald Trump who cross over the average NFL viewing audience, that the NFL, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, regardless of what their side on this, whether, we'd really prefer that you stand for it. If they were to came out and said, hey, we'd really prefer that you didn't, then you have a players' revolt. If they do, and then they do what they did, now you have a potential fan revolt. Don't be surprised if the overnight numbers don't come back after this week and they're shit.
Oh, you know what?
The football's been good this week.
I think
there's been a couple pretty good matchups. Don't be surprised if they're not shit.
I think the
right, wrong, or otherwise.
I think you got to look at next weekend.
Oh yeah,
not necessarily this week. I think you need to look at next weekend because I think a lot of people are probably going to be tuning in to see what happens.
Oh yeah, so you'll tick the box off of them as a viewer because they tuned in to see what their team did for the opening kickoff.
Yeah, so I can
go back to my social media and rabble.
A couple of things though, Dorf, for me when it comes to this is when it comes to the owners and you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Look. like I said, owners can approach this just about any way they want. They're the owners, they're the boss. These are their employees. If they want,
you can't even claim publicly traded entities. No, if they're not.
If they want to,
exception to the Packers.
If they want to choose to punish these guys, then so be it. They can do that.
Now
it wouldn't be a good move on their part.
No, it would be a PR nightmare. But at the same time, you'd have thunderous applause from a certain section of the country. You would have a thunderous applause from the other section had the opposite.
But you would also lose your locker room, though.
Absolutely,
you would lose your locker room, and then eventually the people that did applaud it are going to eventually be lost because your team isn't winning anymore.
Yeah, because I can't be human when I come here, so I don't want to. Guess where I'm not signing as a free agent.
Another thing, Dorf, is you read off all those tweets.
I didn't read. Yeah.
Well, you didn't read them off, but you counted them.
I have it up.
No, it's okay. You don't have to read them off. 10 tweets. Is that what you said?
On the subject in the last 2 days.
Okay.
I think he's got like 16 total.
Again, is this something that he was bringing up? Was he tweeting 10 times a day against
Rocket Man,
against the protesters in Charlottesville? Against those white nationalists in Charlottesville, was he holding them that accountable? I don't think he was, and this is another big problem that people are having with this president, especially minorities in this country, because it always seems like he's always going out of his way to make it so that he is kind of glossing over that portion of his base, and let's be real here. That portion is part of his base. There is a certain aspect of his base
that would be ignorant.
That are white supremacists, that are vile people in this country. I'm not saying all of them are, because I know some Donald Trump supporters out there that are good people. They just didn't like Hillary Clinton. Now, I disagree with their motives in voting for Donald Trump, but that's an entirely different topic. However, there is a section of Donald Trump's voting base that are vile people. And yes, they are quote-unquote deplorable people. And I think he is trying to keep that in the entirety of his base together. That's why he's not going out and condemning those people to the fullest extent. He knows he's not going to be getting. He knows he's not going to be getting the minority vote anyway.
So your argument is here that this is a political play, because you could argue that the entirety of his campaign and current governing strategy is to be the voice of the silent majority, the forgotten man.
Yeah, the old Richard Nixon.
Yeah. So let's just call it for. I think we know who the group of people that we're talking about. Let's call him the forgotten man. Is this the general overriding opinion of the forgotten man that those bastards be standing or else? And this is just a. You could go back to the Romney 47% comment. I'm never going to get the other half. I'm just going to play to the rallying cries of my half, and hopefully we come up with 50 plus 1.
It could be, Dorf, because you're looking at a lot of these people and what they're saying, and
it's just, you know what? Here's the deal. There are, in the United States, roughly, 3 or 4 million active Twitter users on a monthly basis?
Perhaps, yeah.
You'll piss off 2 million of them.
But, I mean...
Let me finish. You'll piss off 2 million of them. How many people in real-world America do you really piss off by having that stance?
No, I don't know. I was going with a different angle on this. I was going with those people in general. I mean, we posted something over on our Detroit Facebook page, and just... I mean, some of these comments, because here in Detroit, there were a number of people. There was 8 Detroit Lions. Taking a knee, and even the singer who was singing the national anthem.
I forget who it was.
Yeah, he
recording artist.
Yeah, he took a knee at the end of the song. African American took a knee at the end of the song. It's just amazing to me the people that are missing the entirety of this point here.
I think this isn't a classic situation of recent political discourse where one side's yelling about one thing. It's the same general topic. One side's yelling about one thing, the other side's yelling about the other, but they're not yelling about the same thing.
Like this one right here. Fuck the assholes who kneeled. Hope you fucking lose at everything you do. Overpaid fucking crybabies.
That still doesn't address their point?
Let's see here.
Or
a little less protesting and more playing probably would have won the game. Okay, they were protesting for what? 2 minutes? Is that how? I mean,
National Anthem usually lasts less than a minute.
Yeah, something like that. Instead of protesting, why not leave the country that allows you to protest? You think it's so great somewhere else? Please go there. If you don't want to respect the flag, stay in the
fallacy.
Stay in the damn locker room until it is over. Bunch of whiny entitled babies. Let's see here. One person taking a shot at us. Well, I never realized how much of a snowflake this website is. At least, however, it is. At least, however, runs it. Something like that. I don't know what he's saying.
English.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Okay.
See you. Bye, Felicia.
But the thing is, Dorf, I mean, it's not. These people are not. These athletes, they're not protesting the flag. They're not protesting veterans. They're not protesting, the United States of America. They're protesting racial injustice in this country. That's what they're protesting. That's what they're protesting. They're not protesting, they're not protesting anything negative about the fabric of this country. I bet you can go down and you can talk to any of them and say that, look, the reason why I'm protesting is because I know how truly awesome this country can be. And there's aspects of it that I think can be better. And look, locking arms is one thing. You know what?
Whatever. We used to freaking hold hands for National Anthem in high school.
You know what this is about? This is about generating conversation. You're not going to generate You're not going to generate a lot of conversation if you're sitting there locking arms. You know what's going to generate conversation? If you're kneeling during the national anthem.
Or sitting down.
Or doing whatever.
Coming out of the locker room.
That's what's going to generate conversation. If you really want to get your point across about something, if you really feel strongly about something, you've got to do something that's going to gain that attention. Mm-hmm. And again, you're not protesting. These guys are not protesting the country. They're not protesting the flag. They're not protesting your grandpa who fought in World War II. That's not what this is about. Right. And I don't understand why these people can't get that through their head. Why they can't just go and look and see what this is really about instead of looking at it on its surface and be like, they're sitting there protesting the flag. I better go take another swig of moonshine. And that's not what this is about. Look at the world around you right now. Look and listen to these people, because you know what? That's part of this problem too. People not listening to other people. People not listening and seeing how these other people feel. And realizing that, you know what? Your base in this country, the type of person that you are, isn't the only type of person living here. The United States is full of a bunch of different people. And that's why this is taking place right now, because these athletes are seeing something, and they're coming to terms with themselves that there are certain aspects of this country, there are certain actions of this country that aren't equal to everybody. And you know what? I want to bring up Britt McHenry in here too, because this bitch right now is going on and on and on Twitter right now, doing her best Fox News audition, sitting here going, left and right about Donald Trump, talking about how these athletes need to, maybe they should just stay in England, the ones that were protesting in England. Oh, wow. What a concept that is. A white woman, blonde hair, is telling a bunch of minority men that either you fall in line or get the hell out. Wow, that's a nice concept. That's not something that we've seen before in this country or identified as a problem before in this country. Fuck you, Britt McHenry. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I am so sick of this bitch on Twitter going on and on and on. Like I said, she is doing her fucking damnedest to go out and get a Fox News job. It's sickening. It is absolutely sickening. Go ahead, Dorf. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with anything you said, but are we done drawing should we be done? Is a policy on this program done giving her attention anymore in the future?
Sure.
What little attention we give her. You're giving her what she wants.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the toddler throwing a temper tantrum. Stop trying to placate it. It's just ignore it. It'll go away.
Yeah, you're right. And
here's another one. Here's another one that I hate. False equivalence in this whole thing. Well, when Tebow took a knee, yada yada. The man who did not take a knee in protest, but he took a knee in prayer and was called controversial. Let that sink in. That on Twitter currently has 28,000 retweets and 51,000 likes.
No, you know what? I didn't have a problem when Tebow took a knee. Why does somebody have to have a problem with that? Why? Why can't people listen to other people's standpoints? Why can't they listen to someone and
ideological echo chambers are a bitch.
Yeah, and just
when all of a sudden when there's a splash of the other side ingested, freak out ensues.
Yeah, hey man, I hear ya.
Cool. Don't agree with your point, but cool.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I can't identify with you fully, but hey man, I can respect your position on it. These guys aren't going out and causing violence. These guys aren't going out and setting shit on fire or anything like that. Silent protest, silent, peaceful protest, using a platform that they have to make their point heard. And you know what? Not everybody is going to have that opportunity to do that. And I think in large part, that's why these guys are doing it. And to say that these guys have nothing to lose, go tell that to Bruce Maxwell, who did it yesterday.
Oh, absolutely.
This guy is a 4A catcher.
A 4A catcher on a bad team. He has everything to lose.
Yep. And you know what? That guy had the balls
to do it.
And I applaud him for doing it. That's a guy that has everything to lose. And he went out there,
doesn't have any guaranteed money for next year.
And you know what, Dorf?
Likely have to fight for his job.
This guy has, I'm assuming, the utmost respect for the military. You know why? Because his parents are in the military. At least I think his dad is.
He was born in, I looked up his page on Baseball Reference. He was born on a base in Germany.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So there you go. Oh,
yeah. On Twitter here, kind of inject a little bit of comedy here. Why can't we just all agree to kneel during Nickelback songs?
Better yet, how about we just turn off Nickelback songs?
like my point about Britt McHenry. Stop giving them attention; they'll go away.
Yeah, really. Well, you know what? I saw somebody bring this up. When somebody does a hunger strike, they're not protesting food.
Fair.
They're more than
protesting
likely
something else.
Yeah, they're more than likely.
I don't like food. I'm going to stop eating it.
Yeah, they're more than likely protesting something else. Same thing goes with these guys. They're not protesting the American flag. So.
Damn, Marshawn Lynch is hard to tackle. Holy shit.
Did Khalil Mack get any more tackles at all?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention that closely.
Well, come on, Dorf. You're supposed to pay attention.
Would you like me to look up a box score?
I can just do that myself.
Oh, fine. Whatever. Jeez.
Do you have anything else, Dorf, on this?
Not on this topic. Did you see what happened at the Lions postseason in the locker room?
I did see that, and can't catch a break, man.
Their food warmer was on fire.
Yeah.
They're losing in traumatic. Yes, traumatic. I didn't mean to say dramatic. Traumatic fashion.
Yeah, that sucks. Anyways,
well,
do you have a bitch and badass this week or no?
Yeah, Redskins just picked off another ball.
Was that your
no
badass?
No. Go ahead with yours first, because I don't want to steal it. I'm pretty sure I know who yours is.
Okay. Let's see. I don't like this one. Is this better? No, that's what we usually go on. No, I don't like that one. No, that's too. There we go. Yeah.
Hey.
There we go. Funky. I like it. My badass this week is Bruce Maxwell.
That's why I didn't want to steal it.
Again, like I said earlier, or just a second ago, this is the guy that had everything to lose, and I applaud him for for taking a knee. I don't want to say take a stand, but take a knee. And
taking a stand in a metaphorical sense.
Yes, but yeah, guy has everything to lose. And, the people out there that are railing against these guys because they're professional athletes and they assume they make a whole bunch of money and have mansions and yada 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 yada. Bruce Maxwell, I can assure you, probably doesn't. I can assure you he probably doesn't drive a $100,000 car or live in a big house or anything like that.
Especially the property prices in Central California.
Yeah,
geez.
yeah. This is a guy that, like I said, has everything to lose and took a stand in that metaphorical
and nothing
stance.
to gain for himself.
No. He wanted to voice his opinion on this whole thing, and he did. So I applaud him for that. Dorf, go ahead.
I'm going to go my badass this week is going to be the University of Alabama football team. After all the shit that Vanderbilt talked prior to in game week about how they're both 3-0 coming in the game, trounced that ass. They were up at 1.51 to nothing in the second half. I forget what the final score is, but I'm going to take Alabama.
All right.
That's my badass this week.
Excellent. And let's see. Turn that off. Going over to our full-on Benny Hill music. Here we go. Bitch, Dorf, go ahead.
My bitch this week is going to be your angry uncle on Facebook. Totally missing the point. I think we've talked this one to death. I don't need it. I'm not going to justify it anymore. You get it.
And on that note, my bitch this week, in every sense of the term, is Britt McHenry. Don't need to go into it.
We've already talked it to death. There we go.
There we go. Nice quick one. Moving along.
Your angry uncle on Facebook. Yes, you know who you are. Everybody has one. Exactly.
Let's see. Second half of the show. I do want to get to this Aaron Hernandez stuff, Dorf, because I hate saying this, but
you're just saying it because his name's similar to yours, Aaron Hernandez.
I know.
Adam Hernandez.
I used to have this shirt I used to wear with Hernandez on the back of it. I don't like wearing it anymore because
people think that. Oops.
Yeah. But anyways,
you saw Benny Hill in the background, by the way.
Well, it may be fitting because this is an ongoing problem with the NFL, and it's can continue to be an ongoing problem with the NFL. And in some sick way, I guess those Donald Trump comments couldn't come at a better time because this kind of put this under the rug for now. This whole Aaron Hernandez thing, and look, I'm not approaching this from the angle because of his family trying to earn a payday or anything like that from this whole situation, especially considering the guy killed somebody, and who knows how many people he actually killed, because I think that that suspicion is still out there. But he did kill Odin Lloyd, that semi-pro football player. I know Dorf. I just found out the other day Dorf doesn't like hearing that.
Yeah, that's.
Anyways,
it's the equivalent of beer league softball.
Anyway,
it doesn't mean he was doesn't mean anything. It's like saying, oh, the guy wore pants.
But the whole point of all of this, Dorf, it has nothing to do with the lawsuit or anything like that, or his family trying to recoup money. But it has to do with Aaron Hernandez being 27 years old when he died.
Stage 3 CTE.
Stage 3 CTE, which is one away from being the worst that you can possibly have. The guy
want me? I have how the three different stages are defined.
4 different stages.
Well, yes, the 4 different stages are defined. So
go ahead.
Stage 1 is essentially essentially reduced brain function, but you don't show any symptoms. It essentially holes start developing in your brain. Mm-hmm. That's stage 1, but you're asymptomatic. Stage 2 is categorized by rage, impulsivity, and depression. Also, essentially the holes, for lack of a better term, let's call it brain rot.
Yeah,
is more defined, visible. Will be visible because the only way you can diagnose it is autopsy. Would be visible in autopsy, but the symptoms are rage, impulsivity, and depression. Also, big part of this is substance abuse. At this stage, there's a huge instance of substance abuse, kind of that goes along with impulsive behavior. Short-term gain without regard for long-term consequences. Stage 3 what Aaron Hernandez had is confusion and memory loss. Increased size of the let's call it the holes in the brain again, and stage 4 is essentially dementia, advanced dementia, caused by repeated chronic brain injury. Yikes.
Yeah. Massive holes in the brain in layman's terms.
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned that.
So, massive holes. So this is, I have essentially a diagram up here from, it's a PBS Frontline story ran back in 2013, actually, with all these diagrams, pictures of a healthy brain versus advanced CTE brain. Normal brain is kind of all together, there's a cross section of it. Not only is the advanced CTE brain smaller, it's full of fucking holes and ugly brown color instead of the healthy pinkish color that it is usually, it should be. Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, the question that you have to ask, with this, Dorf, is what does this mean going forward in this whole with this whole CTE thing? I mean, because there was already a study given that they tested, what was it, 111 brains. That was the last big study that they did with this, it seems like. And of those 111
NFL and college players.
Yep, and of those 111 brains, 110 of them were found to have CTE. And in this case right now, Aaron Hernandez, he was only 27-year-old, essentially had the brain makeup of a 80-year-old soon-to-be Alzheimer's patient.
Correct.
And he's only played in 44 NFL games. Now, he's probably, I'm assuming he's been playing football up until that point for the majority of his life. I'm sure he probably played in Pee Wee in high school, and he did play in college, obviously, at Florida. But when you look around the NFL right now, and the guys that have followed that, I don't want to say the same off the field path, but are following that same professional path in a sense that Aaron Hernandez has followed, and there's been a lot of them. Guys who have played in high school, guys who have done the college thing, and at a big time program, and made that jump to the NFL, and they continue to play every single day of the season, whether it's during a game or in practice. And is this what we see with Aaron Hernandez right now with his CTE results, Dorf? Is this worse than originally anticipated when it came to CTE in the NFL, do you think?
Man, that's such a tough question.
And it sucks, too, because you can't diagnose this without the person dying.
Yeah, there's no way to, without start cutting on the brain, which you can't really do while someone's still alive.
Yeah.
You especially don't want to do it when someone's still alive, unless, of course, you absolutely have to. Man. I hope it's not the case, because you know what, the NFL is fun. It provides enjoyment and that escape from reality to so many people and employment to so many others, directly or indirectly. The last thing you want to see is have it go. I think the first group that you'll see affected directly by this for sport will actually be fight sports. I think fight sports will be
MMA, boxing.
That's where it's on purpose you're bludgeoning someone's brain in. I bet you if you were able to, now it's probably too late
and I know professional wrestling isn't real, but I mean
them too.
The whiplash and everything that they go through when they're
it doesn't necessarily have to mean fist meeting head hitting ground, head being hit by something. It's just a rapid deceleration of your brain compared to your skull. It's the brain hitting the skull.
Yeah, it's the brain bouncing around in the skull.
Yes, the skull, which causes most concussive activities. Anything and everything. I mean, hell, you're gonna see a fundamental change in like how hockey's played.
Yep.
I don't think hockey dies here, but I think this might be kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back to outlaw fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And, you might see a very, very reduced amount of, like, open ice checking as well. I think you might see that become illegal.
That's something that they've always tried to. It seems like
Well, I mean, you have charging
in recent memory though.
You have charging already on the books as being in a essentially the way it's enforced is you can't take more than 3 strides,
something like that, yeah,
to go after a guy.
But we've already seen guys lose their careers over that. I mean, Pat LaFontaine is one of them. Eric Lindros saw his career cut short because of it.
And at the same time, you look at the guys,
Sidney Crosby,
like the let's call them the boxing hobos on skates, Derek Bogard, for example, that couldn't handle living anymore because the shit that happened to their brain, because it was his Derek Bogard's job professionally to get his teeth kicked in.
Or kicking in other people's teeth.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're going to be on the receiving end of it too.
Sure. Well, I mean, look, and in football as well. I mean, look at Junior Seau.
Mm-hmm.
Junior Seau is one of them. Couldn't live with it anymore. And it was even more sad about that, Dorf, is the way he committed suicide. He shot himself in the chest just so his brain would be preserved.
Preserved so it could be studied.
Yeah. I mean, what?
That's such a fucking terrible... I mean, if you're going to end yourself, at least make it instant.
How do you even approach, comprehending that? Like, thank you? I mean, is that... what do you do with... I mean, these are... I mean, in some degree... I mean, that, of course, that's the extreme, one side of it when it comes to all of this, Dorf. But, I mean, I bet you that Junior Seau isn't going to be the last guy to take that approach with something.
Oh, you'll see... I bet you... The guys that are playing now, I bet you a vast, vast majority of them all donate their brains. Guys that are kind of up there, I'm sure there might be a little bit of issues with pride.
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee that there'll be a bigger, massive study of NFL brains here over the next 10, 15 years. Unfortunately, you need another decade's worth of former players to die, and that'll be it. You know what? This isn't... There's no way to, regardless of you look at like this new helmet, like the $1,300 or $1,400 helmet that you're seeing rolled out. It's the Vises 1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it's promising. It's an improvement, but you still can't play football without those rapid decelerations causing brain to impact with skull. You just can't. There's no way for football to be played, even 7-on-7. Even if you turn it into a flag football extravaganza, and that's what football is going forward, and tackle football the way we know it is gone forever. You still can't eliminate that there.
Well, no, Dorf, and this is my position on it is that look,
the other thing is, so what?
You can't completely eliminate the dangers of football and still have it be football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible for it to do. And I don't think the NFL needs to go that far. What I do think the NFL needs to do, though, is not deny the science in this. Because it seems like that's something that they've tried to do, or they try to do the sneaky thing and get their own doctor to kind of, circumvent the evidence behind it. What the NFL needs to do is, and this will trickle down, because the NFL being the highest authority on all of it, or the highest league in the land. I mean, when it comes to professional football, the NFL is the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
What the NFL needs to do is take this seriously. They need to take the research seriously. They need to continue pumping money into the research. So there's as much understanding about CTE and the dangers, and they need to do everything they can to learn about prevention and what these players can do to maybe further protect themselves within a reasonable sense, and give them all of the information that they can muster, so the players can also make that choice for themselves. Because there's no question about that. Football is obviously a very, very dangerous game. And people who partake in it know that they are in some ways taking their health in their own hands.
The long term, kind of the same realization that people had with boxing several decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, this will shorten my life, but it'll make the journey there a whole lot nicer if I choose to pursue this professionally. I think you might have that kind of, I'm going to call it crisis of consciousness, but I don't have anything better. Where realization, guys have no excuse anymore. This is something you still want to do. And the NFL, I don't think will collapse, because I think there's still a plethora of guys who will make that essentially short-term trade-off. That I'm going to be, it's right now is going to be awesome, but I'm going to die a decade sooner, and it's going to be a lot of suffering along the way. But I'm going to take that because, from age 20 to 40 is going to be great.
And maybe I get lucky.
Maybe
I'm not one of those guys.
I think as long as that's kind of the way it's sold, I think the NFL will survive. Now, will the viewership survive, knowing that you're watching essentially guys
kind of second-rate players
kill them? Well, not even that. You're watching guys,
or knowing the outcome.
Knowing the end result. You're watching. I don't want to say watching guys kill themselves in front of you, but that kill themselves 30 years from now in front of you. But I think you might see a death of viewership from that, but at the same time, I don't think the sport will go away, because I think there's still enough people out there that will trade the glory, fame, and monetary gain now for the trade-offs later. And at the same time, now that this is all available, it's not hidden, it's not repressed, guys have no excuse. If you want to keep playing, actions have consequences.
But I think we're still not at that point, Dorf. I still think I still think the NFL isn't doing their full capacity.
No, if they were doing their full capacity, they'd force these guys to wear fucking current generation helmets.
Okay, well that's one thing.
Like Matt Ryan, dude, that helmet rolled out in the 90s.
Same thing with
wear a fucking current gen helmet.
Same thing with Aaron Rodgers too.
Yeah, wear a helmet that freaking fits your head, Aaron. That doesn't bounce up and down every time you get hit.
So you're a quarterback too.
That properly protects your head. And wear one that was made this decade. Hell, just the advancements in helmet technology and like impact reduction in the last 3 years is insane.
No, I completely agree.
You might as well be wearing a freaking frying pan on your head.
Completely agree with you.
Force them to wear current generation helmets.
Yep, completely.
And to a lot of these guys' credit, you have seen a lot. Same thing. Marshawn Lynch is wearing a helmet that the technology is 20 years old. I don't care if it's what you've always worn. I don't care if it's what you're used to. If you value your gourd, protect it.
That's something that hockey had a problem with too.
That's the same thing with hockey. If you're going to wear a visor, wear it right. If you're going to wear it, you have to wear a helmet. You need to wear it properly. And not to mention the bad, terrible precedent this all sets with the kids.
Hockey has gotten better when it comes to the makeup of the helmet. I mean, because I remember
it was a plastic.
Yeah, I remember
like a leather strap over the head.
Yeah, I remember Gretzky and Mark Messier. A lot of the older players were guilty of it. I remember Igor Larionov used to have a really cheap Jofa. Helmets. Jaromir Jagr was another one too.
Thin sheet of plastic with a leather. It's called a hemisphere.
But it seems like hockey though has gotten better. Now I'm with you on the visor thing. I mean, again though, but visors are optional. You don't have to wear a visor, and a visor isn't necessarily going to protect you against a concussion. It's going to protect your eyes from you losing.
You losing an eyeball.
I mean, look at Yzerman during a Calgary series back in the mid 2000s.
Was that a puck he got hit with, or was that a stick?
It was a puck. It rolled up his stick and hit him in the eye. He was behind the net. It was at Calgary. It was the first round.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. They're afraid he was going to lose his vision, and he didn't. But I could still.
Did he miss a year?
I don't know if he missed a year. He missed the rest of the playoffs, though. I can remember.
I don't think he made it back for the beginning of the following season.
That may have been the case, but it was brutal. It was a brutal eye injury. But I completely agree with you from that standpoint, Dorf. I mean, first and foremost, make these guys wear the proper helmets. Don't. Or they have to sign a waiver or something saying,
here's our release of liability. You can no longer sue us for anything ever.
Yeah, exactly. Now put it back up. Go ahead. Thank you.
All right.
But
And you know what? To a lot of these guys' credit, I'm going to reference the Detroit Lions because they're the hometown team here. But to their credit, all their guys are in current gen helmets. Minus, I think, their punter.
No, punter.
Okay.
I mean, what do you get? Punter's nearly barely gets.
Actually, I think I'm wrong on that. I'm pretty sure he's in a current gen.
Even if you are the punter, you're if you get hit, then
something has gone seriously wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear
Tom Brady? Wear a fucking current gen helmet. Khalil Mack, wear a current gen helmet.
Khalil Mack's not wearing a helmet?
No, man, that's like 20 years old.
Come on, Khalil, you're on my fantasy team too, man. I need you healthy. Damn it. He's got 2 points for me tonight, by the way.
Oh.
Which is pretty good.
Crabtree ain't doing shit either.
Good. You want to hear some unreasonable response to this? See, I'm part of this shitty group on Facebook.
Of course you are.
You know the group I'm talking about.
Yeah, you have a what's the self-flagellating relationship with these shitty Facebook groups?
I'm thinking about making you a member here.
No, I will immediately unjoin.
Anyways, though, let's see here. Guy posted this. It was an article. Had severe CTE. Daughter sues the NFL. So on and so forth. I talk about they have 44 NFL games. The guy who originally posted it, and I was talking about, I wonder what the league spin will be on this one. Guy responded, the spin is interesting part, knowing what is out there now. Who in their right mind promotes their son to play football? I think a reasonable question.
Okay, I'm going to argue. This is Aaron Hernandez is the perfect case for this, why someone would be promoted to play football. Aaron Hernandez was from Miami, was a gang member in high school, would probably be dead already or
if he didn't
incarcerated if he had not played football.
I think this is going.
People with nothing to lose will still play football.
I think he was more so talking about the Pee Wee aspect to this. I think that's what people were talking about.
Fair. And you know what? There is no reason. Honestly, I was not allowed to play football until high school. I did not get to play. Actually, I played in the 8th grade. That was the first time I was allowed to. My dad played in college, and he said, "You know what? Your neck is not strong enough. You are not well formed enough to be able to play until I tell you can." For me, it was 8th grade. For my brother, it was 5th grade. He was a bigger kid.
Who's better, you or your brother?
Both played about the same amount in college.
Come on, who was better?
You didn't play the same spots.
Come on, who was better? You want to say you?
I don't want to say me, but I think that's.
You can say you. It's okay.
Yeah, me. Fine.
Oh man. No, but I think that's probably what he was getting at here. And you know what? My kid is 3. I don't know if I'm going to allow him to play football. I probably won't. Not Pee Wee. I mean, if he wants.
They got all that flag, the
I know.
60 flag stuff now. I wouldn't hesitate getting him involved in that.
No, probably not that, but like full contact Pee Wee football.
No reason to play, unless of course he's one of the bigger kids. No reason to play.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be pretty tall. I don't know how like thick he'll be.
You have a lot of height in the family.
I don't, but I think he's probably going to be taller than me. I'm not short by any means. I mean, I'm 5'9".
You're the average American man.
Yes.
Actually, I think you're slightly lighter than the average American man, but you're the exact height.
So yeah, I'm the exact height. So I think I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be a little bit taller than me. But I don't think that I will allow him to play Pee Wee football.
Hometown bias.
But some of the unreasonable response to this, Dorf, I think you might get a kick out of it.
Sure.
Let's see here. That one's too long. I'm not going to read that. Wow, I'm 250 pounds, run faster than 90% of the population. I choose to play a sport where people as big as me and as fast as me are trying to hit me as hard as they can. I make millions of dollars. Why does the millions of dollars have to come into it? When my brain and body break down, I want to blame someone else and get millions more. Come on, people. Think nobody is made to be forced football. I don't think his family, though, is trying to blame this on him murdering people. I think they're just trying to get the cut from the NFL.
Stage 3 CT,
I think,
of course, now CTE is it's not new, but we're rapidly understanding it more and more every day.
But Dorf, is this
unless of course you could say in the research here that CTE, it does cause a rage, but at the same time, does that cause people to premeditate murder?
I don't think so.
You can't say that.
I mean,
scientifically, you can't say that now.
I mean, in some sense, but you know what? I'm I'm sitting here talking about. I was going to bring up the Chris Benoit thing, and I know you're not a pro wrestling fan, but did you ever hear? Did you ever hear about Chris Benoit? Was a former professional wrestler, very very big in his sport at the time.
Okay.
Ended up killing his family, and he killed his family. He basically strangled his son, and I think he bludgeoned his wife to death.
Okay.
But they found out that he had CTE. Extreme cases of CTE. He also took steroids too, though, and I think that you would have to think that was probably more part of it than the whole CTE aspect. The whole roid rage thing and so on and so forth. So I don't think that there's necessarily a correlation between CTE and being violent and killing people. And I'm assuming, too, because Aaron Hernandez had this problem when he was in college, too. I'm assuming that the CTE that he had then wasn't nearly as bad as what it was the day he died. Anyways, just another representation of people who think they should not be held responsible for their actions. I've got money that says this girl is a Democrat. Freaking snowflakes.
Why does that matter?
Because these people are idiots. That's why. And again, I don't think the family is looking to use this to to try and play off that he's a victim in these murders or anything like that. I think they're just trying to get their cut from the NFL when it comes to the whole CTE angle. I don't think it has anything to do with him murdering people. It has everything to do with him, though, maybe committing suicide in prison. Maybe that had...
How many other guys with CTE have you seen taking their own life?
I'm assuming quite a few.
Not an insignificant number.
No. So, anyways, that's the whole angle. I think that we're looking at here with this family and the federal lawsuit that they're filing against the NFL. So, Dorf, we asked that question earlier on in the show. Stupid shit of the week first. The Yankees not extending those nets beyond the dugout. And again, this is a reactionary thing, but a little girl gets hit by a line drive off the...
Hospitalized.
Yep, hospitalized off the bat of Todd Frazier, which it's... not only is it heartbreaking to sit here and think about some poor, girl, baby in a sense...
young child.
Yep, get hit in the face by a ball coming at her at 105 miles per hour. But just the looks of some of these, these players' faces. I mean, I think you had Matt Holliday, crying when this was happening.
Mm-hmm. Especially all these guys in their late 20s, early 30s, they all have kids that age.
Yeah, they all have kids that age. Todd Frazier, I can't imagine how he was, able to continue that game, but he pulled himself together and did it. It's why can't we just come to our senses with something and just, do our best to make things safer in this country, I mean,
come on. There's no reason. Look at Japan and Korea. They've got nets going to the foul poles.
Yeah.
You ever see an empty seat in any of those stadiums? No. Fans don't care.
No.
It does not affect their viewing experience.
No, and take for instance...
Having giant posts to hold them up probably will, but there's this wonderful thing called, tension wires that you can hang them from that won't be a problem.
Is this an issue in the NHL? Because they put the net up behind the net and along
you haven't seen... correct me if I'm wrong, you haven't seen anybody die since then?
No, and I don't hear anybody complaining about it either. And I've been to a number of games since they've done that, since they put those up. No, it doesn't. It doesn't cause any problem.
Especially, you can't see in the upper, in the NHL specifically, can't see in the upper deck. You're so fucking far away from the ice anyway. What is a piece of net cord that's like less than a quarter inch wide really going to do?
And look, I understand too, you're not going to be able to make the stadium totally safe. I understand, but You know what? You give yourself more of a chance if you're sitting in the upper deck.
You know what? The Yankees would be very, very wise not to make it like an admission of guilt here, but every single cent necessary for that child's recovery and maybe her college should be paid for by the team.
It's not. I don't think that's completely...
Not an empty gesture.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The Yankees can certainly pay for it. I don't think the Yankees are hurting for money or anything like that.
No, you handle that outside the court system so you don't set the legal precedent, because then everybody and their brother will try and sue you. Oh, I fell down the stairs. I need $200,000. But... Or my seat was wet. It ruined my pants. I want $500,000.
Remember when the Twins put the plexiglass out in the outfield during that wasn't a safety thing. That was,
what was that?
I think that was a keep your hands out from the
stop interfering with home run balls.
Yeah, I think that's what it was about more.
Okay.
I remember that was weird though when they did that. It looked like they had like high hockey glass out there.
Looked weird. I remember that. Although that was like right when I was born. I've seen
that
video.
That was
mostly referencing like watching video on Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, that was the Kirby Puckett. Yeah, the Kirby Puckett days. Yeah, I remember him jumping up and hitting the glass. The question though, to kind of wrap up the show tonight,
you got
Dorf,
2 NBA things before you go.
Oh yeah, 2 NBA things. Melo gets traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Enes Kanter and
Doug McDermott
in a 2. Yep.
Also, Dwayne Wade was just bought out.
I just saw that too. Yep, bought out by the Bulls.
It hasn't been announced officially, but they're reportedly bought out Dwayne Wade. There's 4 teams listed as front runners for him. I have an interesting thing here that would be Miami. Who is it? Miami. Shit. What's SAS short for?
SAS.
San Antonio Spurs. Cleveland and OKC. All in the running for him.
He's not going to OKC.
The minimum Dwayne Wade can make, according to contractual, minimums, and his minimum is $2.3 million. OKC can offer him 2.3. Cleveland can offer him 2.5. The Spurs can offer him 3.3. Miami can offer him 4.2.
He's either going to Miami or Cleveland.
Probably.
That's where he's going to go. Either one of those 2 teams. I bet he probably goes back to Miami.
Watch him end up with the Spurs.
That
would be the biggest old man group at the shooting guard ever.
You know what though? If the Spurs
do it, Ginobili.
If the Spurs do it, I can assume that it was the right move.
Oh, yeah.
If he ends up going to Cleveland or Miami, then I can assume I'll add some question in there. But if Popovich brings him to San Antonio, I'm going to assume that it's for the right reasons. But yeah, the Dwayne Wade thing doesn't surprise me. I think that was brewing now for a little while.
They've been trying to. They've been working on a buyout for him for a while.
Were you surprised about Melo going to OKC?
Yes and no.
That was
the
my
return
thought.
Was pretty weak sauce.
But
at the same time, when you're the New York Knicks, you have no leverage. I mean,
everybody knew he wanted out. And it's
for the amount of stuff that especially his wife has thrown a fit that I only want she only wants to live in New York. They're originally from New York, yada yada, and that's been a derailing factor in him leaving the Knicks before. I'm surprised that OKC of all cities is where he's going to end up.
Yeah, I'm worried about the chemistry and the makeup of that team now. I mean, you've got a lot of ball hogs there.
Who's going to play? Yeah, no kidding.
Chris Paul.
And who's going to play defense? Well, Paul George, very, very good defender.
Yes.
Carmelo and Russell Westbrook don't play a damn lick of defense.
No, they don't.
Now you don't have a rim protector either. You don't have a rim protector.
No, this team's going to put up a shit ton of points, though.
Also going to give up a shit ton.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't write them off.
And here's the thing: you gave up almost no depth. I mean, Doug McDermott wasn't going to get any minutes anyway, especially now with George and Melo in town. Cantor's whatever. I mean, he's not a bad player. And then a second-round pick, woo, you might as well have stocked their vending machine next year. You didn't give any. I mean, they still have Victor Oladipo, right?
No, I thought they got rid. Did they get rid of Victor Oladipo? Hold on, let me check.
Just pulled up their roster.
I could have. I could just do that. Victor Oladipo. No, he's with the Pacers. No, he was part of the Paul George trade.
Oh, that's right.
Duh.
I mean, you still got plenty of depth. Still plenty of depth, plenty of talent. Whatever. OKC's going to be good.
They're going to be good. I don't think they're going to overtake the Warriors. Though.
They have championship hangover. What do you think about the whole Kevin Durant thing? You done any reading on that this week?
Yeah, I did. about the whole trash in OKC and the old what was it?
Regretting leaving and having fake social media profiles so he can really post his real opinion.
How could he regret leaving? He won a championship.
And he's repeatedly turned down more because he could have opted out
and gone back to Oklahoma City.
They opted out and
they would have taken him back.
Cashed in more money.
Yeah, they would have taken him back.
Oh yeah. He'd opted out and gone anywhere.
It's bullshit. It's athlete talk. That's what it is.
Is it just the NBA machine attempting to be like the NFL and be relevant 12 months out of the year?
Possibly.
How long has someone been sitting on this, tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that, Kevin Durant operates...
hold on.
Oh, yeah, I got him. Kevin Durant operates fake social media accounts.
We should get some aluminum foil in here.
We should have a tinfoil hat just around it. Here, pass me the hat. or one for each of us that we put it on when we're about to talk something crazy.
That's a good idea. I think we're going to do that. All right, though. Big question of the night, kind of wrap up everything. Can Donald Trump win a war of words against the sports world? Whether that be the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, maybe perhaps the NHL if it ever gets to it. Is that something that Donald Trump can ultimately win? Or is it too big? Is there too many entities? Is there too many different variables involved here?
I don't think a solo war, one front war against the sports world. I'm sure that the Donald will come out politically fine, but now this is yet another front in the political war for Donald. He's opened up another front. Can he withstand an all side assault? Because you've already seen him. He's already in a one front war with the media. You've got a single front war with celebrities. You've got a single front war with Congress. You've got a single front war with. Pick somewhere else. I mean, you've got like 6 or 7 fronts. Can he withstand the onslaught from
He's got
all sides?
He's got a personal attack war going with the leader of North Korea.
Rocket Man.
That's what I mean.
Can he survive all that? He has so far. Still standing.
We're also less than a year into his presidency, though, too.
Yeah, still standing.
I don't know.
I don't think the sports world will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But it doesn't help.
Well, so far it's not doing anything to.
Well, it's been 2 days.
Well, he's not doing anything right now. Because I don't know what he thought was going to happen after Friday night.
I'm sure it wasn't thought out. I'm sure it wasn't on script. I'm sure that. So it was meant to get the thunderous applause it got at that rally he held in Alabama.
So did John...
Forgetting that everybody has a camera on him and it will go viral around the country instantaneously.
So did John Kelly have his face in his hands again?
Probably. That was great. That was... That look when your boss just put foot in mouth.
Oh, yeah. Like, what the...
Rocket Man. You can't tell me that was on the teleprompter.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. And John Kelly was probably sitting there like, wait, what did
that was not what I approved.
What did he say?
Who wrote that? No one, sir. That was him ad-libbing.
Yeah, that was all him. I don't know. I
Rocket Man.
Yeah,
as far as like the goofy nicknames Donald Trump has given everybody is, where does that rank amongst like Little Marco? What was his tiny Lion Ted? Crooked Hillary. Where does that rank?
It's. I'm not saying he's using it as an endearing term. It just sounds.
Well, it's not supposed to be an endearing term. No, it's derogatory. It's belittling, and that's the point.
What, Rocket Man?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if it's that derogatory though. I mean, to me, it's kind of an endearing term.
I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat back on.
Okay.
40 chess move to deliberately belittle the leader of North Korea.
It's just amazing the shit that he's doing though, like that he's posting on Twitter. I mean, going in front of the United Nations and outright saying that you're going to destroy a country.
And then he said it again on Twitter because the foreign minister of North Korea gave if he echoes sentiments of Rocket Man, they won't be around for much longer.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing?
Come on, and especially so far in this administration, it's all been like, we're not going to publicly discuss military strategy and give our enemies legs up. Last thing you want to say is, "Oh yeah, say something. We're gonna bomb your ass." That playing your cards a little bit out too much in public.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not the master of 4D chess. It's now called 5D chess. Trademark.
Anyways, anything else tonight, Dorf?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, that's going to do it this week then. We'll be back on at our normal time next time. What are we at? 7 o'clock?
Well, we usually come around 7:20.
No, we'll try to be on
We
at
try
7.
and be on 7.
Try to be on at 7 next time.
It
Anyways.
ain't gonna be 8:45.
No, definitely not. It's definitely not going to be 8:45. Like I said, impromptu. But who knows? Who knows what next week will yield? This was a big week, big weekend, big last couple of days. So who knows?
Rocket Man.
Maybe it'll be even worse next week or better. Anyways,
I don't honestly for like easy cannon fodder. I don't really know what can top this.
who knows? Oh, I know.
Save it.
Okay.
Don't wanna show your hit cards to the enemy.
Yeah. So, anyways, though, people, we will see you next time. Have a great week. So for Dorf, Sean at Chuck E. Cheese, I am Adam.
You didn't tell that wasn't on this show.
Oh yeah, Sean's birthday. He's probably at Chuck E. Cheese celebrating. Bye for now, everybody.